Welcome to Brexit in Northern Ireland, an extensive game form view of the situation. Some background on the issue: Northern Ireland, Ireland, and the United Kingdom all have a tumultuous history together. Northern Ireland are Unionist and Protestant and part of the UK. Republic of Ireland is Catholic and independent. Until the 1990s, Ireland held claims over Northern Ireland, and there was a hard border between them, with the UK administering Northern Ireland. Throughout that time, between the 1960s and the 1990s, there was a lot of fighting in Northern Ireland uh, and on both sides in general. In 1998, there was an agreement known as the Good Friday Agreement, which created a lot of peace. They agreed to open borders, which continue today. Ireland rescinded its claim over Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland has the right to hold a referendum and join Ireland if they ever so choose. Both countries are in the EU and therefore have an open customs border, and there was never a reason for Northern Ireland to join Ireland until the UK voted for leaving the European Union. Northern Ireland voted to actually remain in the EU. And so we know what Northern Ireland wants out of this situation. So, the setup for this game: the UK has four options in dealing with Northern Ireland. One is be in a customs union with the EU. Two is leave the EU and put up a border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, which is not ideal. Three, leave the EU and put customs border between the whole island of Ireland and the UK, which is again not ideal. And then uh, lastly, stay in the EU. Northern Ireland obviously has the reactive choice of remaining with the UK or leaving. For the purposes of this game, the EU will agree with whatever the UK wants, which is generally true because the EU cares more about peace in this specific aspect. Ireland has no say, and to know how good an outcome is, I've rated it on a scale of 0 to 2, 0 being unhappy, 1 being neutral, and 2 being happy. So now, actually looking at the game, we have Customs Union, Ireland Union, Hard Border, and Remain, and then Northern Ireland's Remain or Leave. Just to make it a little easier to look at the final results, here it is in matrix form. UK is on top. So in a customs union, Northern Ireland likes that, so they'll stay. It's a 2-1. If they leave, it would be a 0-0 for both sides. If Ireland is one customs union, Northern Ireland doesn't really have a reason to stay because they're now in a separate customs union than their own country. So they would want to join Northern Ireland just for practicality reasons. If there's a hard border, similar situation, but Northern Ireland wants a soft border, so they would leave so that they could have a soft border with Northern Ireland by just being part of the country. And then finally, UK stays in the EU. UK doesn't really like this, but Northern Ireland would, of course, be fine with this. So to find the equilibrium, we need to use backward induction, or that's the way I did it because I thought that was easiest. So first, we know what Northern Ireland does in each situation. So what we can do is get rid of Northern Ireland and just bump the winning situations that Northern Ireland puts for the UK to choose, because obviously the UK will know what Northern Ireland will do. So once you see here, you see that the UK doesn't have a winning situation except for customs union, where they win something. So some takeaways from this: one is that the UK is in a lose 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 kind of okay situation. There's only really one option that gives them something. It's still not great, and it's not a two for them. And so that's kind of more reflective of just the situation that they're in, because Northern Ireland does want an open border, and so this kind of creates a situation that is really hard for them because they have to maintain that open border. For the class, game theory always has a simplified view, and of course, you had to see how I made the generalizations to make that happen. But at the same time, it cuts through a lot of unneeded information because, of course, a customs union could look, 100 different ways. Some might be okay with Northern Ireland, some might not be. Some might be okay with the UK, some might not be. But this cuts through all that information and makes it way more simple. And so game theory can predict that pretty easily. And then lastly, this is a great example of a reactionary game where both sides have all of the perfect information. Thank you for watching my game theory video on Northern Ireland. Bye.